Pull up your big boy pants, as today we're taking up a gear on Watch It, Cook It, Eat It. We pissed about with quick and easy recipes, but now it's time to get stuck into the really meaty stuff. Quite literally. I'm going to show you how to cook the perfect roast pork belly with a creamy mash and caramelized red cabbage and the crispiest crackling. Pass the carving knife, old man. There's a new sheriff in town. Cue the music. First things first, hit that subscribe button. Then you guessed it, mise en place. Take a few carrots, some celery, a whole onion, a whole bulb of garlic and some fresh thyme and roughly chop it up. Place them all in the bottom of a roasting dish and turn your oven on and try and get it hotter than the sun. Realise that's impossible and settle for the highest temp available. We're keeping it simple with the seasoning for the pork, just fennel seeds and fresh thyme. Give them both a good pounding in a pestle and mortar and remove the thyme stalks. Add a good sprinkling of salt and some freshly ground black pepper and place to one side. There are a few really easy tricks to make sure that crackling is crunchy enough so that they can hear you chowing down on it in France. Firstly, leave your pork uncovered in the fridge overnight before you're planning to cook it. Secondly, pat it down with a dry paper towel to remove any excess moisture. Finally, we're going to score the skin side of the pork. Use a Stanley blade to do this, as you can adjust the length of the blade to ensure you don't cut into the meat. They're also really sharp, so won't have trouble cutting through the skin of the butchered swine. Cut diagonally across the skin of the piggy, making the cuts quite close together. Drizzle some olive oil over the skin and rub it into the cut. Then toss your fennel and thyme mix on and get sensual with it. Making sure that the seasoning is all up in them grooves. Place it gently atop your veggies and tuck as many of the vegetables under the pork as possible to prevent them from burning. Stick your meat in the oven on full whack for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the skin is golden brown and looks something like this. Then turn the oven down to 170 and cook for a further hour and a half. 2 episodes of Friends, a cry and a wank later, it's time to introduce 3/4 of a bottle of wine to the mixer. Then cook for a further 1 hour. Whilst that pork's squealing away in the oven, we can work on our first accoutrement, the caramelized red cabbage. For this, you will need 1 red cabbage, obviously, and some other shit. Specific details of other shit can be found on the Watch It, Cook It, Eat It website, which can be navigated to via the link in the description below. Make sure you remove the core of the cabbage, then finely slice it. Head over to the saucepan that's on medium-low heat and add in a large knob of butter. Then in with some sliced onions and sweat them down for 5 minutes. Notice your pan's too small and swap for a larger blue pan. Then add in your cabbage and cook for a further 5 minutes. Add in sugar, honey, chili flakes and vinegar. Stir and cook with the lid on for 45 minutes over a low heat. Whilst the cabbage slowly turns into something beautiful, we can make a start on the potatoes. Peel about 1 kilo of Maris pie potatoes, chop into about 1-inch squares. I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you how to boil a fucking potato, but a good way of knowing when they're done is when you can stick a paring knife in and it falls straight off. Strain said potatoes and add back into the pan. In an ideal world, we'd be using a potato ricer, but literally who the fuck owns one of those apart from Gordon Ramsay? Add in a generous helping of butter, some garlic powder, white pepper, English mustard, salt and double cream. Again, exact quantities for those too scared to work it out themselves can be found on the website. Mash the potatoes at first with a masher and then introduce a whisk to get some nice light fluffiness into them. Let's get Peppa Pig out of the oven and see how she's got on. Slice up the belly, removing any bones as necessary. The pork should pull apart really easily if you use 2 forks. If it doesn't, then you probably haven't cooked it for long enough. Here's a bit of close-up porky pornography for your viewing pleasure. To serve, we're going to hit the plate with a metric shit ton of mash, then make it look fancy with some spoon action. Pork on top of mash, cabbage on the side, and hey presto, Sunday dinner is served.